Welcome back to the Kaspersky Arena, Tube Dwellers. I've got to say that game number 1 of this Best of 5 series really got me excited for the potential of this series. I kind of expected it to be an exercise in praise towards TLO, but I'm starting to think it won't necessarily be that. It already hasn't been only that. kauP put up a great showing in game number 1, so let's introduce them officially here. Introducing first, in the bottom right-hand corner of Newkirk Precinct, the blue Terran player, kauP. His opponent, continuing his infestation of the Kaspersky tournament, the red Zerg, TLO. Dario ultimately came out on top. Of course, TLO's real name is Dario. If you don't know that, I think that's a pretty well-known fact for anybody who would consider themselves a fan of TLO and or just follow Starcraft in general. He's done some casting, which is freaking awesome. I love seeing Dario cast. But anyway, what I was about to say is Dario has been showing us nothing but the pro skills so far in this tournament. He's been whipping nerd ass. kauP happened to be the nerd in the last game, but we'll see who ends up drawing the short straw in this match. I have a feeling that there's a chance it'll be TLO. kauP played very well in the last match, and I would say, if anything, his not perfect defense. He had solid defense. He pushed a lot of stuff that TLO did off, but he didn't have perfect defense, and that is what allowed TLO to just translate a little bit more damage to kauP than kauP did to TLO. We actually see identical builds coming out to game number 1. 15 hatchery, 15 command center. Both players go on the ultimate macro. The most macro build you can possibly do is getting the next macro facility immediately. Getting another hatchery, getting another command center, and this is it. Both of them following up the standard way with their combat production, following shortly after. Barracks, spawning pool. The diversity will come soon enough. It's kind of odd to see mirrored builds in a not mirror matchup. I mean, technically it's impossible. You can't. The Terran can't go 15 hatchery, 15 spawning pool. But this is basically a mirror. kauP, this is a small map. He's going to sneak a little SCV in. It looks like TLO has very similar ideas. No, TLO's making a third. TLO's not scouting. Foolish me. Silly caster, it's the 4-minute mark. Not even. It's time for TLO to expand, and there it goes. kauP is probably going to see this unless he does some kind of gross scouting path that goes up north. Sure enough, he sees it. Nice and early. Both that it's down nice and early, and that kauP saw it pretty much immediately. He's going to put a bunker down. There's a high chance of success on this, so why not try it? I should say there's a high chance that the Zerg won't see it, and that's true in my not professional games. That may not be true in professional games. But anybody that's not professional, as a Terran in this situation, there's a decent chance that you can slap a bunker up here and it can finish before the Zerg spots it. So why not give that a try? That's what kauP's thinking. Ultimately, he loses 25 minerals. Doesn't cost TLO a damn thing. Except for a little bit of that Zergling attention. A single gas followed up to the 15 command center. The factory's coming out, though kind of slowly, and a reactor behind it. The reactor's going to be much slower than the factory. This single gas is really interesting. This says Hellions, right? Is he gonna go mass Hellions here out of this factory? I feel like it's gonna be a bunch of Hellions. Given that TLO has the third base up already, maybe that's a good choice. But maybe that choice was made before he even totally confirmed the third base. If TLO didn't get 3 bases quick and say got even like 5 or 7 roaches, this natural is incredibly easy to defend against Hellions, and then by the time you have a couple roaches, Hellions wouldn't do anything to this third. That's assuming, though, that TLO expects Hellions, and I doubt TLO will even get roaches. He's shown no such tendency in any recent ZVT games. The second command center, a third, the second one he's built, coming down right at the front, where if TLO used a Zergling scout, it'd be easy to see, but the Overlord that pops in here does not see it. TLO did see the tech lab coming up on the barracks. That means, Hellions are pretty obvious here, and there's likely going to be a bio follow-up. Stim starts immediately as soon as that tech lab finishes. And as the Hellions come out, set to do some economic damage to TLO, TLO continues to burst in the economic front. 8 drones coming out of the production queue. We're looking at 42 to 32, right where Zerg wants to be. Enough workers ahead that it nullifies the mule advantage. He does have one spine crawler up. This is such a wide area out by this third that, yeah, you need something else. Zerglings can't really navigate that very well, especially since speed isn't quite done yet. It looks like, are there no more? Okay, just now the other 2 Hellions are coming out. Expect to see them on the minimap a little faster than that. It's possible that kauP prioritized something else over him. As far as his mineral income goes, spent that money on something else. Now that we've got 4 Hellions out here, Zergling speed is about to finish, but this is definitely enough to deal with a very sizable pack of Zerglings. Yeah, that's nothing as compared to 4 Hellions by no means. Like 3 times that could probably still be dealt with. There's a spine crawler up here, though, and there are enough lings there. Oh, I like the little spreads, too, TLO. Just such great attention to detail, looking for every little ounce of that efficiency. We're now up to 6 Hellions, but TLO's moving across the map. It looks like he'd really love to catch a couple Hellions coming to this pack. And if the pack keeps getting larger, then TLO may need to catch a couple Hellions coming to this pack. TLO splitting off a couple Zerglings, gets a bead on the Hellions. It looks like this makes kauP a little aware that the Zerglings are out on the map. kauP's going to chase them down a little bit. TLO's just a little too slippery, though. Now that those Zerglings have their speed, they are technically faster than the Hellions. Still very difficult to catch. Dim dastardly Hellions. Look at this! TLO just loves making people wrong. He's just a dick like that. He's going to whip out a roach warren. I said something about it's unlikely TLO will get roaches. Speaking historically, at least from my perspective, what I've seen of TLO's history. That was very true, and now he's going to switch things all up. Roaches. I wonder if this is a timing? Or I wonder if he's going to, you know, continue with the roaches, do something compositionally, like Roach Hydra, do something compositionally oriented with the roaches. The third is down for kauP. He built that a little while ago. The worker counts are actually looking fairly favorable for the Terran. He did this in the last game. He got a really nice worker count up fast. However, so did TLO in the last game. I think even more so than in this game. TLO investing in roaches. It looks like maybe he's even held off a little bit more on his economy. As we see worker-wise, kauP now totally catches up to TLO. That's going to put him in a solid lead with the mule advantage. And there's 3 commands laying down mules. TLO's getting there, though. Staying a few drones ahead at least, so keeping a not uncomfortable spot. He's got roaches coming out. He's got roaches upgrades, too, at least in the form of their speed and in the form of burrow. Burrow is kind of a roach upgrade. It affects all Zerg units, but we got a push coming in here. kauP doesn't know if he wants to go for the front or not. It looks like he wants to use a scan. He sure does. He's going to clear up some creep. This is going to give TLO time, though, to morph in some more banelings, and we may see him use some of the banelings he's got right now and save the ones morphing for a second wave. The roaches are going to come out here. With the couple medevacs, this is a sizable amount of Marines. I'm sorry, I'm jerking the camera around a lot here, but we got a lot of high mobility, especially with the stim going on. This force is not looking... Oh, TLO! You maniac! Zerglings in on the third. Again, there's no kind of wall. This is really tough to wall off, but you can put some structures here and choke it up, and it makes a big difference. kauP's not doing any of that. He's not using any kind of defensive building placement kind of tactics, and I think it hurts him. I think it's hurting him real bad. There's some Marines caught out. These alone, not nearly enough to deal with this Zerg force. All of the Marines together, if he can find a way to unify his force, might give this some trouble, but there's a lot of banelings there. There's a lot of roaches there, my god. He does have 1 armor, TLO, and he's got 1 melee damage, meaning the Zerglings, mainly the banelings, though, are going to do quite a bit of damage here. kauP's in a very odd position, and it looks like TLO is going to take just a few roaches around to the side. Banelings don't hit. kauP looks like he may clean this up and retain most of his forces. God, there are still a lot of roaches out in the front, though. kauP's trying to get a 4th orbital. That would let him stay in this if he could finish that and keep decent worker counts. I think he lost a lot of workers, though. He's not too far behind. Again, TLO's put himself where a Zerg is really comfortable to be again. Again, he's there for a second time. I want to relay to you. The second a drop goes out, the roaches are coming right back in. It's almost like TLO knows. He did, however, see that medevac, so he knows that much at least. I think the one that loaded up with infantry actually came back. Right here it is, dropping off on this side of the wall. kauP is in a bad way. He's got to lift the third. This didn't hurt a lot in game number 1 because he was turning damage right back over to TLO. But in this game, he took a lot of army damage. A lot of his ground forces got hit. Got killed off. And he has to lift it. That means that he's not going to be able to reestablish it anytime soon. TLO has a sick army lead, a sick supply lead. I don't think this depot's even going to be lifted. No, there's a Baneling bust. There are a lot of Roaches here, but pretty much all the Banelings are gone. Roaches don't fare the best against Bio, especially with even some Marauders. 2-2 has also finished for kauP. So, hold on. We see some timings coming together. 2-2 is done for the melee, but the Roaches only have 2 armor. That means these Baneling hits are going to make the camera jump. They're so devastating. I don't think the Roaches, yeah, they are going to be enough. This is too good of a concave. The Bio's caught back in these little odd packs where it's not getting the best of trades off. There are a lot of workers going down here, even if kauP is able to hold it together somehow, and I don't think he is. There are just too many Roaches. Then he's still going to be hit in the economy coming off the back end. TLO pulling out a quick one this time. kauP just not able to resist. I said something about his defensive capabilities in game number 1. Maybe TLO saw that. Maybe TLO witnessed a bit of the weakness from the first game. And he's closing in for the kill. The GG goes down. The Roaches dance victoriously in game number 2. Goes to the record books, a second win for TLO. That one looked easy. That one looked the way I kind of expected game 1 to look. But I'm glad we got the gift of game 1. And now we're going to move on to game 3 and see what kind of presents it bears. Thanks for watching, guys. Please stay tuned for the next. Later.